Your local station, WMBS. It's hour number 2 of Medicare A to Z with Aaron Zolbrod, brought to you by the Health Insurance Store in Connellsville. If you want to call Aaron at the Health Insurance Store, 724-603-3403 or online at getyourbestplan.com. And if you want to ask Aaron a question right now about health insurance, well, give us a call at 724-438-4593. And Aaron, we were talking about how we're kind of refocusing, especially on Medicare, which is your bread and butter, basically.
That's right.
And so we're also going through a brief history of the Health Insurance Store. We were talking about how you were not happy with the way business was being done at some companies, and you decided that you had a new business plan. And again, 13 years later, it seems to be working out okay.
It's worked out pretty well.
You said knocking wood. And you said you had about 10,000 clients. Now, when we say clients, we're talking about people you've actually gotten programs
and this is
for.
Today, these are active clients. So these aren't people like we talk about who unfortunately have left
no longer
us.
Need insurance.
Right.
Yeah.
No longer need insurance. That's a good way to put it. And so those are just active clients. And we're probably closer to 11,000 or more. So those are just active.
And again, it is a fluid number, but I imagine even a larger number is the people not only that are your clients, but that you have helped and maybe even didn't get dime one out of.
There's a ton of them. If I had dime one for every one of those, we'd be doing pretty good too. But yes, so I couldn't even put a number on that, Bill. It could be 10,000. I mean, you got to. So we don't charge for consultations. I don't know if we've mentioned that in the show today, but we never charge. We have never charged for a consultation in the office, over the phone, or on the internet, and hopefully we never will, as long as we continue to get compensated. And we haven't mentioned that. That's something else probably we should mention is how we get compensated. And as long as we get compensated from an insurance company to do the work, we'll never have to charge for a consultation. Now, we ran into a little situation. We've run into where the insurance company stopped paying us on individual plans, with the exception of the 45-day open enrollment, individual ACA open enrollment period. Right. So we do actually get people policies for free during the outside of that enrollment period, and we do a couple a day, and a ton of them during the pandemic, because people were losing their jobs left and right, and needed to get insurance. But thousands and thousands of people that we've helped without getting paid, and that's part of our. I remember, just what we do.
Yeah, I remember the first time I got a healthcare.gov policy. I went to an agent who had no problem working me through it, because he was going to get a fee from somebody. And you're saying that's not
so when somebody loses their job in the middle of the year and needs to get individual health insurance, we do not get compensated to write that policy. We and for a while we were only helping people who were 60 and older, but after the pandemic hit, we said, you know what, we're gonna step in and help the community at large who need it. It's just a way that we said we're going to give back to people, and we've just decided we're going to continue to do that, and help people with Affordable Care Act ACA plans, regardless whether we get paid or not. And we're blessed that we have enough business from Medicare and from group plans, and also we have plenty of people who signed up during the Obamacare open enrollment or ACA open enrollment. We do get paid on, so we're blessed to be able to do that. And again, just supporting the community who supported us so well, but thousands of people that we've advised to,
Well, if somebody calls you and says, I've got this, and this insurance through this, and this company, and they sit down with you, and you look at it and go, this is just fine for you. Again, that's a free consultation.
I'd say 30% of people we meet are best either staying on. I'd say 1 out of every 3 people that we talk to, that call us or that meet with us, they're better staying on their plan at their employer. They already have a good Medicare plan, or they're offered a plan through a company they retired from that's better than that offers better value than anything they can purchase just through us. Retired teachers, teachers who have 15 to 20 years in the district,
Right.
not necessarily teachers, but it could be cafeteria workers, et cetera. I guarantee we've advised 2,500 to 3,000 just retired school employees over the years, maybe more. I mean, it seems like we talked a couple a week, and they're all best off to take their HOP medical plan. Sometimes, a lot of times, they're best off getting a small prescription plan from us, but every single time we tell the teacher the same exact thing: take the medical plan that's offered through the school district. And
if it changes, or keep in touch.
Right, we say, listen, yes, if it gets over $175 a month, give us a call. But until it hits that point, you're great where you're at.
So, and that just goes to show again, the business model is help people first.
And we invite those retired teachers to come see us. I mean, we even help fill out their applications for them. I mean, they bring their applications, and we'll fill it out for them, make sure they're signing it, putting dating it right. And again, we don't have a problem doing that at all. We love to get back to the community.
724-438-4593. If you have a question for Aaron during the program here, we've got until 3 o'clock. Also, we are live streaming this on our WMBS Facebook page. So if you would like to ask a question or make a comment, for instance, we had somebody who, when we were talking about CJ, was talking about Zantac and the generic, and that's all been recalled. And there are issues with that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's commonly prescribed.
Yeah, and we want to thank her for calling us. And we go to the phones and say, hi, you're on the Health Insurance Store and the Medicare A to Z program. Who are we talking with here?
Yeah, hello. This is Dale from Harlan.
Hey, Dale.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How about yourself?
Oh, I can't complain. I just had a quick question or comment, I guess, really about coverage. Coverage has shifted so much drastically the last few years. For myself, for example, so like ointments, like when my hemorrhoids flare extremely bad, like they get to the point where it's like a bubble gun bubble.
I think we lost that call, but yeah, and things do change, and especially if you've got different prescriptions, different drugs, and this also helps. We're
going to get into that here in a few minutes about changes in plans. I mean, it's not out of the ordinary for a drug to be covered one way one year and then the next not. And that can be for lots of different reasons. So we're going to get into that. I'm not sure where that call was going with the bubblegum thing, but anyways, listen, even if that was a prank call, that guy's we are going to discuss.
He's going to be taking medication for something else.
The changes. Those types of changes that can happen from time to time. So
yeah, they get one call a month and they decided to use it here. Anyway, 724-438-4593. Everybody's welcome to join us again. If you want to call the Health Insurance Score, it's 724-603-3403 or online at getyourbestplan.com. Getyourbestplan.com. And you were mentioning, and this would probably be a good time to just kind of cover this, because there are people out there that are going, you've got a great service, you're our go-to guy. How in the world are you making money? How are you supporting your family?
So, and that's what's the beauty of being a broker is when we're appointed, so we get appointed to sell products from all these companies, okay? Right now, luckily, almost all Medicare and individual and group health insurance agents allow people like me who represent multiple companies. So when it comes to group insurance, we've got Highmark, obviously, and UPMC and United Healthcare, who's not very competitive right now. When it comes to Medicare supplements, I mean, we've got 5 to 10 companies. Same with Part D. We represent them all. And whenever we sell a product, they pay us. And they pay us all very similarly. So Advantage plans pay us pretty similarly, from one company to the next. Supplements pay us pretty similarly from one company to the next. I mean, there can be a little bit of differences from one, but generally mostly the same. So we don't, at the end of the day, financially, we don't care which company you choose. I mean, obviously, it's my goal to be the best agent I can be. And again, I mentioned this before, it's my job to keep as much money in your pocket as we can. So, but when I do that, I can pick the company that's going to keep the most money in your pocket based on your needs, and I'm going to get paid very similarly to the next company.
Right.
And so, I mean, there are some scenarios where we get paid more, but we don't. That's not how we give advice. Is we give advice based on what's best for our client every single time. But each company pays us. That's why we don't have to charge any fees at all. So no matter what company, when it comes to Medicare, I mean, honestly, there's like 60 different Advantage plans. There are, 8 companies we're contracted with that have 9 supplements plans. They all have the same 9 supplements. But it doesn't matter what company you take and what letter plan you take, I'm getting paid. And at the end of the day, that's why you get unbiased advice, because we have access to every single competitive company, their plans from every single competitive company in the market.
And I think that's why the health insurance store has become a go-to place if you have questions about Medicare and supplements and Advantage plans, which we'll get into. But also, you handle individual health insurance and, let's not forget, the group insurance.
Employer group plans. So I think it's so important to offer employees nowadays. If you want to keep your employees around, I mean, one of the best ways to do it is offer to give them a nice value in health, dental, and vision, and other benefits as well.
724-438-4593 if you would like to ask a question of Aaron Zolbrod. This is Medicare A to Z, but and while we'll be happy to take Medicare questions, it's really any kind of question related to health insurance, either group or individual health insurance. And when we talk about the health insurance store, and we've kind of danced around this a little bit, but the core mission of the health insurance store is to do what?
The core mission is to advise every single person what is their best option, regardless if it results in a commission or not. It doesn't matter, every single time. If they're best taking their benefits through their employer, then that's what we're going to tell them to do. If they're best if they qualify for Medicaid, we're going to do that. And we're going to do the application for them. I mean, that we don't get paid a nickel to do that, but we will do that. If that means tell them to stay with the plan that they're on. If that means they call us and say, hey, I have XYZ Advantage Plan HMO. Well, do you like it? Yep. Well, that's the plan. If you wanted an HMO, if you wanted an Advantage Plan, that's the plan. That's one of the 3 plans I'd have told you to take. Stay right with it. We don't get paid a penny to do that. A lot of times somebody will come to us and they'll have XYZ insurance, and we'll say, well, that's a great, we think that's the company you ought to have, but we think you ought to be on, plan 1A, which is a little bit less expensive, but has the same copays. We'll do that for that person, right. But we don't get paid because the first person, if there's another agent that wrote them on their first policy, when they change within the same company, that other agent gets paid. That other agency gets paid. We don't get paid, and we'll do it anyways. And then the other mission is we promise to take care of our clients as long as they remain clients. That anytime they call, we're going to return that phone call. I have a policy that any phone call that comes to the office by 4 o'clock gets returned that same day. Every single email gets that returned the same day. I just had not a very good experience with a new homeowner's policy that I got. And I had 2 phone calls that went unreturned.
Really?
And I called today. I'm getting a new homeowner's policy on a place on a new home in Florida. There's a hurricane bearing down.
Right.
And I wanted to verify that my policy, that I was good to go.
Yeah.
And I called Friday and didn't get a return call back. And I called today and explained to whoever answered the phone that happened, and I was immediately given excuses that they were slam busy on Friday. And I asked to talk to the owner, and she said, I am the owner. I said, so before you even knew when I called, who I left the message with, if you had received it or not, you were already making excuses on why somebody didn't call me back.
There's no excuse.
There should listen, let's be real. That happens all over the service industry now.
Right.
Right.
Oh, customer service. Good luck on that.
Right.
One.
And during the pandemic, I felt like it's even gotten worse. And I don't know if it's people from mental health, that's our mood, that we're all suffering in some ways, with anxiety and stress and the like. I don't know what the reason is, or we're working from home. We've all gotten a bit sloppy.
Or just tired of being at home, too.
It's just unacceptable to me. I will never tolerate that at my agency. That doesn't mean that we've never dropped the ball ever before, but the goal is to always make sure every phone call is returned, every email is returned, every client issues are taken care of and solved, until they're solved. We've had issues that have gone months that we've spent hours and hours and hours and hours on the phone with insurance companies and took us 6 months to solve. But you know what? We got them solved. And I can recall a couple times, we're talking about $2,500 back in the pockets of our clients, and that we never stopped fighting for them until that we did. It's not just that we give up. We don't give up, period. And so, again, that's the mission, is to always give advice based on the client's needs, not our paycheck, and always take care of our clients. We want to give the best. We want it to be the best customer service they've ever had in anything they do. And
as you said earlier, you're an advocate more than anything else. Right?
We're an advocate. We're an advocate, and we want to eliminate the stress. There's enough stress in life. Health insurance, Medicare insurance should not be one of them for you. And if you're our client, that is our goal, to eliminate the stress of that. We want to get you to the point where you trust us so much that when it comes time every October, I've got clients that said, call me up, say, Aaron, what are we doing this year? Here's what we're going with. Great. You're going to mail me the application? Anything I need to know? Okay.
It's in the application. Yeah.
That's where we want to get you so comfortable and trust us so much and know that we're always taking care of you, and that's where we want to be.
And that's got to be a gratifying phone call, and the one where you get somebody who calls, "Hi, I'm a new client, but my brother Joe X has been using you for years," and so
the even better ones are, I've had 3 people tell me to come see you. We get that all the time. Yeah. Multiple people have told me that you guys are great at what you do. And again, that's a testament to, I do less and less of the customer service stuff. That's a testament to my employees in our support staff who are, we have a motto, is that you treat every single client like they're your mom and dad. Yeah. That's how you take care of them. The same way you would look out for your mom and dad. And that's how we want to take care of every client.
724-438-4593 if you want to talk to Aaron in the next half hour. We've got until 3 o'clock here, but again, you can call the health insurance store in Connellsville, 724-603-3403, or online at getyourbestplan.com. And also, I don't think we can say this enough, that you are flexible as far as whether they come to you in person, want to do a virtual meeting, a phone call, any of that.
Any of that. We can do anything that people are comfortable with.
So, yeah, and so if you have a question about health insurance, if maybe you run a business, and I know a lot of businesses now, all of a sudden the models have changed for them as far as who they're giving benefits to and what benefits they're giving.
If you already have benefits and you want us to review them, and you have an agency or broker for your group benefits that hasn't given you that top-notch customer service, we can come in and A, get you a new quote, B, become your broker of record. So when it comes to group insurance, every one of your employees is our client now. Yeah. We make sure they understand that they can call us. That's not really normal for brokers to do that. I'm going to meet with Mr. Owner. Mr. Owner's my client. That's not the way we look at it. Mr. Owner's employees are my clients. We don't want them bothering Mr. Owner. We want them coming to us when they have a prescription that is an issue. If they have a claim denied, that we give them our cards and we send them our letters and let them know that we're here for them anytime that they need us.
Well, it only makes sense. Mr. Owner may be really good at, fixing truck transmissions or making potato chips, but they don't know anything.
They don't know anything. If they did, they wouldn't need to come to us.
Yeah. And even HR departments,
correct,
sometimes are not up on these things as they should.
Oh,
be.
Absolutely. I've had plenty of HR people give employees bad advice. So that's what we're here for that.
And anybody who is in a position of, or even just go to your boss and say, hey, have you called the health insurance store? And,
Sure.
Give them a call. And again, the health insurance store number is 724-603-3403. And here on the show, 724-438-4593. If you have a question for Aaron, again, it doesn't have to be about Medicare. It can be about anything to do with an issue with health insurance. But we are Medicare A to Z. And Medicare, of course, you mentioned it in the first hour. We've got the open enrollment coming up quicker, or as I like to say, sooner rather than later.
It's coming, man. Yeah. It's coming. It's crazy how fast it always seems to sneak up on us every year.
And by the way, has it always been that way? I mean, Medicare dates back to the mid-'60s, and has there always been an open enrollment? And why does that model apply to Medicare? But you know, when I buy a new car, I can call my car insurance company and say, I just bought a new car, and zip, zip, zip.
Or you can switch companies anytime during the year. You don't have to wait till October to move from Allstate to State Farm, right? So it's because health and Medicare insurance are so fluid that they're always changing. And I think it's because they are they're regulated, and the regulations are always changing. And so you got to remember that Part D and Advantage plans were only introduced in mass in 2005. Right. And so prior to 2000, if they were introduced in 2004, and then they were able for purchase in 2005, that's only 15 years. Yeah. And before that, there were just supplements. There weren't any Advantage plans or Part D. And so we're still in the baby stages of this thing. And I think, you know, automobile insurance has tons of regulations.
But it's been around
forever. Yeah, and so it's just one of those things. So here's one reason why. Here's the real reason why there has to be, and this is due to more and more regulations, is insurance companies have to submit their plan designs. Health insurance companies and Medicare companies have to submit their plan designs in April or May for the following year. They need to be approved. Rate changes need to be approved. If they're going to raise or lower, raise copays, all of that stuff, they have to be approved. And, it also is based on how was the performance for that company in that year? What can they do based on, did they make money? Did they lose money? So on and so forth. And then these companies, they really can change benefits from year to year. We had that call that what I thought was a prank call, but, it turns out it wasn't completely prank because he was asking about changes. That's what he's getting at. I know he was kind of making a joke, but that's actually a good point, that what medications can be covered from one year to the next. Medicare Part D company, an Advantage plan company, can say, we're no longer covering this drug.
Can they do that on their own, or do they have to have that approved?
They have to have that approved. But, as long as they're covering a minimum of 2 other medications that treat that same diagnosis, it's pretty simple for them to do that. So, in other words, they could take Novolog off their formulary as long as they're covering another slow-acting or fast-acting, whatever that may be, 2 other insulins. They could take one, and I've seen that happen, or Humalog off from one year to the next. Or they could take a drug that's a tier 2 and make it a tier 3. Take a drug that's a tier 3, make it a tier 4. Raise your premiums. And they can change. They can only do that. Like, I can get a letter from my insurance company anytime say your rates are going up on your auto insurance. Well, they can't do that with you can't do that with health or Medicare Advantage plans, Obamacare plans, ACA plans, whatever you want to call them, and Part D cannot do that. They can only raise those rates for the following calendar year. So that is the reason for the annual election period. And I think someday I think we may get away from that at some point. But let me give you another reason why. It's because there's so much variance in plan to plan. And so what they're trying to avoid, and this is really important. So what they're trying to avoid is, I'm going to put it in the auto perspective. If I have liability only, and I wreck my car into a tree, I can't call Geico and say, I want to change the full coverage and want my car fixed. However, I could be diagnosed with cancer. I could say, okay, I'm going to take the crappiest. If they didn't do this, I could take the crappiest $7,800 deductible plan with the lowest premium, and then I find out I'm diagnosed with cancer, and I call the insurance company and say, oh, I want to get the plan with an $800 deductible.
Right.
And they're trying to get people to think ahead and think of the what if, because you got to remember that Medicare Advantage plans are subsidized by the federal government. And so the government needs to also, they're kind of protecting themselves, and that's another reason why we have an annual election period. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to rethink things. Okay, I've been rolling the dice with this with this plan that doesn't cover me so well. I got a lower premium. You know what? I think I'm going to go back to being a little more conservative.
Yeah, I'm 64 now. I need to
I was diagnosed with cancer this year, and I took a plan that has a higher out-of-pocket cost, less premium. This year I'm going to take a plan that has a little bit higher premium but less out-of-pocket costs. Or what is so important about annual election period is your insurance can change, man, big time from one year to the next. You could have the best plan, best HMO this year, and next year be the worst.
Or not exist at all.
Or not exist at all. But more often it's okay, they're hiding the fact that your copay on a hospitalization went from $300 for a 5-day stay to $1,500. Or that you're out of pocket if you get, if you need chemotherapy, went from $3,400 to $6,700 overnight. We've seen it happen. Yeah. And one company in particular has really, over the last 10 years, just
decimated it. Huh?
They have just slowly, but sure. Well, I don't want to say slowly, very steadily increased premiums as much as 500% over the last 10 years, and steadily decreased the quality of the coverage. And it is a company that's been around here forever and ever and ever in Western Pennsylvania. And what they realized is people are so loyal to this brand. What they realized is the first year that they made significant changes and nobody left them, they were like, I can just imagine the board meeting. Wait a minute, you mean we doubled premiums? So we tripled, this happened one year.
Yeah.
You mean we tripled premiums? We doubled what they were exposed to out of pocket. We raised their hospital copay from $300 to $1,200, and we only lost 2% of our people? We better do that again next year. And they did it again.
And same results.
Same with very same results. So there are people who have been on these plans forever. This is why Medicare annual election is so important. It's your redo. It's your chance to make it right. It's your chance to make sure you have the best possible value. Yeah, maybe you made a mistake last year, but don't make it again this year.
And if they change like that, then it's not even your mistake. It's just what happens.
Right. It's
this is why you need an expert, though. You need somebody who knows
Correct.
Their way around.
Right.
To be able to point that out. Your deductible just went up too.
Right.
Et cetera, et cetera. 724-438-4593. If you have a question for Aaron, we got about 15 minutes left, so still plenty of time to take your question about health insurance of any kind. Again, if you run a company and you have questions about offering health insurance and things like that, more than happy. This is Medicare A to Z on your local station WMBS. Now, talking about the Medicare open enrollment period, and you were saying it's a couple of months away, 6-8 weeks, but A, time flies. And B, sometimes it takes time and concentration to get all your ducks in a row and figure out what needs have changed.
Right.
And so basically, what is the process? As we are approaching the open enrollment period, what should we be doing?
So first of all, what you're going to see is open enrollment, or let's get open enrollment and annual election are often they are a lot of times the same terms used, but it's actually annual election. Open enrollment's actually another election period I'm not really allowed to talk about for whatever reason. If you want to discuss it and ask me about it, you can call the office or email, but I'm not really supposed to discuss that. But annual election period is October 15th to December 7th. It's 53 days. You're going to know it's coming because the stuff's going to start coming in the mail really soon. And it seems like every year, every company tries to get off to a quicker start than the next one, kind of like advertising for Christmas or, Halloween or whatever. It seems like it starts earlier and earlier every year. So does the advertisement. So soon your mailboxes are going to be full with ads. Your TV is going to be filled with Joe Namath and Franco Harris and, whoever celebrities pitching that they can get free rides to the doctor. Joe Namath, I get free rides to the doctor. Oh, yeah, okay, Joe. You got to drive live in your limo to do that. I don't know that you need.
It's kind of hard to buy that.
Mr. Smith to come pick you up in his, 2008 Chrysler minivan, but.
You're not going to get on the public bus or something like that.
So you're going to start to see that, and that means it's really getting close. And I mean, literally, your mailbox will be inundated with stuff. So what you need to do, if you're not, what you can do is just use our services, and we can tell you what to do without you trying to fish through this. October 1st, every company, Part D or Advantage Plan company, by law has to mail you out what's called an annual notification of change. With Advantage Plans, those books are going to be about 150 pages. It's going to be a little bit less it's probably going to be half that size for prescription drug plans. But then with your Advantage Plan, within those 150 pages, is going to be 1 page or 2 pages that's going to be somewhere in that book. And it's not going to be on page 1, where it's going to tell you what the changes are for the coming year. The rest is legal glibbity-glop.
Yeah.
Not even I know what the heck it's talking about, and I've been doing this for 13 years.
Written for lawyers by lawyers.
Correct. CYA. It's what companies have to do to CYA. So that's why they do it, because they have to. They're killing more trees than the California wildfires with these books. Unfortunately, every single person has to get one. Right. And if you're a married couple, you're going to get 2 of them, which is insane to me. But if you're a married couple on the same exact Advantage Plan, you're going to get 2 books, the same exact books that are 150 pages long. You can try to look in that and decide if you can, and compare it to others on the market. If you think you can do it, the best thing to do is call us and let us do it. If you're not a client, if you're a client of ours, you don't have to do anything,
right?
Because you're going to get our recommendation letter that's going to tell you very simply what your changes are. If you have a supplement, there's never a change. Just in your premium and maybe in your deductible, we're going to tell you what that is. We're going to probably say, hey, unless you can't afford your supplement, stick with it. If you're having trouble affording it, if you think its price is too high, call us. We'll go over your other options, or if you want to make an appointment to go over your other options. If you're on an Advantage Plan, we're going to simply tell you if we think you should stay on it or not, right, and what those changes are. The good news is the 2 companies we use most often are improving their plans, and I think even lowering premiums in a lot of cases. So that's an easy thing to do. Hey, great news, your benefits haven't changed, but your premiums are going down. Or, hey, there's such small changes, we are not concerned at all. Your primary care doctor's going up $5, your blood work's going up $10, but nothing else of significance is happening. You may be getting extra dental benefits. We'll tell you about that. But if you are happy with your plan, stay with it. If you want to talk about something else, you can do that. If you're not a client of ours, a simple 2-minute phone call. Right. I want to talk to an agent and see if they think my plan's good. You get on the phone, you're going to talk to an agent. How you doing? What plan do you got? How much does it cost? Who's it with? You're great right where you're at. That's exactly where I tell you to be. Don't let anybody in your house to change your plan. Or you know what? We don't think that plan is competitive. You really need to come in and make an appointment. We'll show you side by side. Or you know what? You might want to consider a supplement from an Advantage Plan. Oh my gosh, your supplement's getting really expensive. You might want to consider going to a low-cost Advantage Plan. And so that's the simple advice you're going to get in a couple minutes. I'm going to tell you, at this point, only 2 of the 6 Medicare Advantage Plan companies, and you're going to hear my 60-second ad on this. I just recorded them today. We only think that 2 companies out of the 6 that offer Advantage Plans in Western Pennsylvania are worthy of your consideration. There's only 2 that are competitive. The other 4 are flat out not competitive. Okay? 2 out of 6. That means there's a 33% chance, or 66% chance, you don't have the right company.
And wouldn't know it.
And might not know it.
Yeah.
And you might have not know it because you've been healthy. Heck, I've heard that 100 times. I love my plan. I love my 0 premium plan. I bet you're healthy, aren't you?
Yeah, I never go to I go to the doctor once a year.
Of course you're going to love it, right?
Yeah.
You never use it. You don't know where the trapdoors are because you haven't used it. You better know those trapdoors where those trap doors are before you end up in a skilled nursing facility or have a stroke or,
need a knee replacement.
Need a knee replacement or God forbid, you get cancer or wind up needing dialysis or something of that nature. You and I were just having a discussion of somebody that we know who it all started with a simple foot surgery and health. It was unbelievable the turn his health took. He was perfectly healthy, in great shape, got a foot surgery, and was never the same after that, and ended up with surgery after surgery and dialysis and end-stage renal disease and just one thing after another after another after another. It can happen. And we want, you need to prepare for that, and we can help you prepare for, you need to understand what is going to happen in those worst-case scenarios. And nobody wants to hear about it, and nobody wants to think about it. And people ask me sometimes, why are you even talking about that? Because I have to, as your agent, prepare you for what will happen or what could happen to you if A, B, or C or diagnoses occur.
What change? How much it's going to cost, and
correct.
What's going to be available, what's not going to be available, and again, part of that too is who's participating, who's not participating, and where you can go, and things like that. Now, should we be looking at our policies, or have you look at our policies?
I look at
every year.
We look at them every single year. So Bill, you're a client. You're going to get a letter that says this is what we think you ought to do. Yours is going to say we think you ought to stay on your plan unless it's become unaffordable for you. If you've seen an advertisement on TV and you want to talk about a product that you've seen, we can certainly sit down and review or go over those. But we're going to look at your Part D plan every single year because those change every single year. And we save people thousands of dollars just by making a simple change from one company to the next. Not changing your Part D plan can be $1,000 error.
Wow.
Because they're not covering a drug anymore. They're making the drug a tier 4 instead of a tier 2. It happens all the time. And it's literally every year we save, I bet you overall we save our clients well over $100,000 total by moving them from one Part D plan to the next. Or your supplement premiums go up, we're going to look at other companies.
Yeah.
If a company raises your rates 3 years in a row and we get a new company coming in that's got a good price, we're going to let you know about it, and we're going to get you changed over if we can. We're always watching for new companies, new products, and looking at every single Advantage Plan company and making sure our clients are on the right one. Last year, one of our most popular companies had a new introduction of a new plan. Well, it made the plans that were around $20 and $80 obsolete.
Right.
And we sent a letter to every one of those clients and said, we want to keep you with the same company. We can cut your premiums in half, and you're going to lower your copays. Yes, you're going to pay $18 more in premium, but guess what? You're going to eliminate a $750 deductible.
Right.
And we moved those people. We don't get paid one extra dime to do that, Bill. It was a heck of a lot of work for us. We had to literally change like 1,200 people in 53 days. Some of the agents had appointments every half hour to do that. But it's what we do. And so once you're in our database, once you're a client, you don't have to worry about that. We're going to make sure you're always on the best value every single year.
And again, the good news about being a client is that you have all the information at your fingers, so I don't need to sit and go through that 150-page booklet. Calling it a booklet is kind of...
I've gone to people's houses before and done where they have a dining room table that's 8 feet long. They have brochures open all across that table, and I'm like, what in the... it stressed me out.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. You don't need to put yourself through that. I mean, I've talked to people who've lost sleep over this.
Right.
And a lot of people get overwhelmed, and we don't want people to do this. And I want to reach out to children who are kids of seniors. Don't let your parents freeze up and not do anything out of fear and because they're overwhelmed with mail. And do not let them stay with a plan because they've had it for years. There is one company in particular that has taken advantage of seniors for the last 10 years. It makes my stomach churn. There's a really good chance your parents are one of them. You need to call with them, come with them. You need to pat them on the back, tell them it's okay to change, and it's smart to change. They need that. So I want to make that very clear. It's something that year after year, tens of thousands of seniors stay in the same plan, and it costs them thousands of dollars.
So if you want to ask Aaron a question at the office, it's 724-603-3403, or talk to any one of the helpful and friendly people and knowledgeable people as well. Let's take one more quick call. You got about 3 minutes. Who are we talking with here?
Mama Kirby.
Mama Chirby, how are you, honey?
Good, how are you?
Oh, it's so nice to hear from you.
Yeah, I just want to say that, let me turn the radio down.
Okay, honey. I was just thinking about the Chirbies not too long ago. Here's some folks.
Yeah, there we are.
So nice to hear from you. What's going on, honey?
Nothing much. I just wanted to call in and tell everybody how polite and are your staff, and you helped me when my Charles is in the hospital. The social worker called you, and I don't know if you remember that.
I remember. Trust me, you guys are my all-time top fan favorite clients. You know that.
Yeah.
I remember the first time meeting you at your house all those years ago. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We appreciate you so much.
Yeah, I just wanted to call in and let everybody know you're a wonderful person.
Oh, thank you.
And your staff is too.
Oh, thank you.
And I got to meet your dad too.
That's
remember?
right. Yes, I do. I remember. How's the rest of the family doing?
Okay. Papa Kirby is having some problems, but they got him straightened up now.
Well, listen, you know where to find us if you need us, honey, and you can always call, and we're there for you. And you'll get that letter from us. You'll get the letter from us you always get in mid-September, and then
that's what I was wondering if I was going to get
it. I forget what plan you're on.
I don't know, Aaron.
Are you guys, is it New Era, Philadelphia American?
Yeah.
So you're going to get your letter around the 15th of September.
Okay.
Is Chuck, is Senior on the same plan, or is he on something different?
He's through the VA.
Okay. And then UPMC, I think, right?
Yeah.
So and he'll get his letter right around the end of September or October, right around the 1st of October.
Uh-huh.
So you guys look for those in the mail, and if you need anything, you call, and we'd love to see you again. If you're in Connellsville, make sure you stop over and say hello.
Yeah, we will.
Okay, honey.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for calling. Great to hear your voice.
You too. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
At 724-603-3403 to call the health insurance store, because calling now, unfortunately, at the station, we're down to our last minute or so. But I think that we have, we've kind of just scratched the surface, but we'll be doing this again in a couple of weeks.
And I want to just say that, normally we do first and third Monday of every month.
Right.
It's Labor Day or Memorial? I always get the two.
Labor Day.
Labor Day is coming up. That's on a Monday, so we're going to be doing the Tuesday, the 8th. So the next show is going to be the 8th. We're going to get into, again, your two options in Medicare, which are Advantage plans and supplements. So we're going to get into the difference between those plans, how you're covered, how claims are paid, how claims are approved, how services are approved. That we're going to get into that next. We're really going to break that down to help you make the decision, because the first thing you need to do is decide whether you want an Advantage plan or supplement. We didn't get into a couple things that we'll get into next. I really wanted to get into why your first go-round into Medicare was so important, and why utilizing the annual election period is so important. So we'll get into that more on the 8th is the next time I'll be back.
All right, that's Aaron Zolbrod. This is Medicare A to Z, brought to you by the Health Insurance Store. Again, call them at 724-603-3403 or online at getyourbestplan.com, and he will help you out as we check out what's going on with our plans and policies. That wraps things up for this Monday, and it'll be 2 weeks, Tuesday, on your local station, WMBS Uniontown.